You're listening to the After Dark podcast with NT Paranormal. Nothing normal about it.
Howdy, everybody. So we're back. Long time no see. I hadn't done one of these in a little while, and we're trying to get back to it. We've been kind of busy and not busy and needing breaks and not needing breaks and all kinds of stuff.
And deciding just an hour before the show.
There's just not a lot going on right now. It's kind of hard to come up with a topic when we're not actively doing anything.
Unless we go through the catalog of back topics, we decided we're like, meh.
Yeah. I am caught up on all my other stuff, so I'm going to work on that this week, actually listing out some topics and writing some things. But we have some cool stuff. We went out of town last weekend, which was pretty cool. I got some time off of work, and we just decided at the last minute we were just going to go like on a 3-day
somewhere else.
Yeah. And a place I always wanted to go was Teralingua. I was really, really excited about that because I've seen that pop up on a ton of like haunted websites and like those travel articles you see pop up all the time. They're like, top 10 places you have to go if you like creepy haunted locations, things like that. And it's always on that that one article where it's like the haunted Texas road trip or whatever. But that wasn't even where we had like decided to go initially. Like I just threw Marfa out there because we'd been talking about like as a group we need to go to Marfa, I've wanted to go to Marfa because your dad got the really good video
of the lights,
of the lights, and I think we covered that on a podcast.
But for anyone who listens who isn't from near here, we're from Texas. There's a little town,
North Texas,
Marfa in Texas, out in West Texas. It's famous for the Marfa lights. Which,
by the way, if you're not from Texas, you should know that from our location in Fort Worth, Texas, Marfa is an 8-hour drive, and you're still in Texas. That's important to know.
And you still have a ways to go in Texas.
Yeah, you still got like another 2 hours before you can get out of Texas.
And that's as the crow flies.
Yeah. Marfa was a hell of a drive. That was a long drive.
We were on the drive because we just kept hitting signs for El Paso, and they started in like DFW.
Yeah, it's really
because there's nothing
it really
kind of
like
El Paso.
It's deceiving. So it's like you get on this highway, it's like, all right, next stop El Paso, and you're
595 miles.
You're like, shit, I've only been driving an hour. We'll be there in no time, and it's 8
hours later.
It's keyword
5 more hours later.
No time. Like time just stops in West Texas because it's just, it's funny because we expected everything to be flat and ended up not being. But
it got very okay.
But for a good 7.5 hours, or a good 7 hours, I would say it was just flat.
It was hell
and desolate. It's the desert. It's like the movie. What's the one with the lizard? Johnny Depp's the lizard. Or no, it's not Johnny Depp as the lizard.
You know how I feel about Johnny Depp. Why are you?
I'm getting confused with with Hunter S. Thompson because is it called Rio? It's the little but they do like a tribute to Hunter S. Thompson in there because he's like
it's exactly what you would if you think West Texas.
Yeah,
it's exactly what you think of.
Now I kind of pictured more
oil
sand.
Derricks.
Yeah, that
natural
was there.
gas derricks burning off everywhere. Guys in cowboy hats with rebel flags.
It was there. It was
void.
Yeah, we definitely filled out our Texas bingo card on the way.
Tumbleweed. Oh, Dust Devil. We got that one.
Oh, like some giant ones. That was pretty awesome.
Large ass hat and a giant truck cutting you off on the highway, going over 2 lanes of traffic to cut you off on the highway.
Random things just on fire, just burning off the side of the road.
Oh, my new favorite Texas
Rango.
game.
Alwie corrected me. It's a Rango. Yeah,
it's my new favorite Texas game. Is that a fire or is that just dust?
Because you can't tell. You really can't.
We literally drove through that black cloud before we were like, oh, just dirt.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, up in Big Bend. When we we'll get to that. That was wild. I loved Big Bend. But yeah, so just like 7 hours of flat. I expected more just like sand and like, your little 3-prong cactus. It turns out it's just sparse bushes.
Some sad trees.
Dry grass, sad trees. And these like little palm tree looking cacti, cactus, whatever you want to call
Are the
them.
three-pronged ones, are you thinking about saguaro cactuses that like exist only in Arizona and New Mexico?
I'm not a fucking botanist. I don't know.
You're not? What's this show about?
I don't know.
It's not the botany hour?
So 7 hours of that, and then about
We saw
7 hour in one. You're like, is that a mountain? I'm like, no.
because okay, I understand that the Rockies run into Texas. Like I conceptually get that because
But even when you're looking at the big map, it's just it's just the taint,
well, and
like
I've been
kind of
to
hanging
the
down.
mountains in Texas. One year I went up to Carlsbad and we had to go back across the border into Texas to go through one of the caves in the Carlsbad system, and we were right by Guadalupe Peak. Really big mountain in Texas. But this was so much souther than I expected.
Southie, it was souther.
But I was
Southie.
super excited when we saw that mountain.
Well, and the funny when I first saw him, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like a ways away. Like that's not where we're going. Like we'll see.
You know what?
It'll
I think
always
that's over the border. I think that's New Mexico.
yeah. It was just like always in the distance, and then suddenly it
Keep
wasn't.
in mind, we're already farther south than New Mexico has ended. We both had to look on a map.
Yeah, we had no idea where we were. Texas is way bigger than I initially thought. Apparently, I've just never been that way. The funny thing, I've been through East
Every
Texas a ton of
direction
times, and
except
I've
that one.
I've been south, like Houston,
I've been-
in like Corpus Christi, stuff
I've
like that.
Probably been no
Galveston.
farther south than the line that meets Corpus.
Yeah, but I hadn't been into that little
The niche
armpit
down there?
Yeah, there's like a little armpit.
Yeah.
I've never been anywhere near
Because
that.
I was curious. We got a name for the panhandle, right?
Yeah,
What's the name for this little
the
dewy
taint,
thing that comes?
the clitoris. That's where the clitoris is. It's the G spot. I don't know.
Isn't that little peninsula off of Alabama in between us and Florida?
Shouldn't you know? No. No, I never been in that spot, so I didn't realize like how much of a drive that way. Anytime I've gone westward at all, it was like more towards Colorado or whatever, and it's you drive up through Amarillo, and then you keep going from there. So it's a little bit shorter of a drive because I think you go up and out.
Well, and I expected it to be that long because I've been pretty far west.
Well, I mean, obviously Google Maps said it was going to be 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like I expected, but I did not expect the 8 hours to be like that 8 hour. It was, but coming up on the mountains, like they were just always in the distance. Like
We saw these things for like 2 hours before
Right.
we ever got to them. Because I sent Kristen that picture, and she's like, "What mountains?" And I sent it again. I'm like, "Can you see it now?" She's like, "What are you talking
Well, see,
about?"
I'm still kind of convinced that we went to like some hidden ghost zone or something because they were just always in the distance for the longest time until you were in them. Like they never got any closer,
People
and then you just
assure
look
me
up
that
at
it is
at
very
one time.
mountainous in Big Bend.
I don't know. Well, and you told me your dad hasn't been south of Marfa,
when your
which is
state's
when it
so
really
big, you have no need of knowing what's at the bottom of it.
What is it you told me? We have like all 5 regions
Four.
in
We have 4 of the main regions that exist in the United
because
States.
we have plains, grasslands, desert.
We have the the only main thing we're missing is like one of the West Coast regions of the Appalachians don't quite. They just miss us.
But so our initial drive was just straight into. No, we went through Alpine first because we were stopping at
stayed
the
in
hotel.
Alpine.
And Alpine, if you don't know, is just a little bit south.
North.
Is it
It's
north?
north of Marfa.
Okay, it's just a little bit north of Marfa, but
Like 30
Alpine is just
minutes.
nestled like right in the middle of the mountains. It's really deceiving, and that's why it's called Alpine too, because it's
It's like in the foothills. It's really pretty though.
well, like none of the plant life and all that stuff is like
It looks
belongs.
weird. It looks
Yeah.
weird.
It looks like Colorado, basically.
And my dad had always told me that. He was like, "This one city looks weird." And I was like, "Okay, you're making stuff up," so I go.
City is a very loose term.
There are some roads. They do have a Dairy Queen and a Subway.
And 2 McDonald's.
They do not have a Walmart or, as I realized later, any sort of chain pharmacy.
Anything of use, and then there's like a Quality Inn, which is
if you
actually a
want-
very upscale.
Affordable, upscale.
It was nice. I enjoyed the Quality Inn.
For Motel 6 prices, it's a pretty nice hotel.
Yeah, we stayed one night there. It was like $90. It wasn't bad at all, and it was huge.
But I see that day, towards the end of the day, because we didn't get there till pretty late, we stopped at the motel to check in because we weren't sure when we were coming back. We went down to Alpine, down to Marfa.
Right.
We drove by the observatory initially.
Yeah,
we took
because
pictures on the side.
Yeah, we wanted to see what was in Marfa.
We went into Marfa because my dad's always talking about like the art stuff they do there.
Well, and it wasn't quite sundown yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like we still had a few hours to go before it was going to get dark enough for us to go observe these Marfa lights. So for people that haven't listened before, explain the Marfa lights. Do you know?
They're lights that appear out in the desert, and they can be a bunch of different colors, white, blue, red, but they've been seeing them for, some people think they're headlights, which can be easily debunked because they've been out there since before the existence of headlights.
Yeah, early 1900s.
They
were first noticed.
Have ghost stories about these lights.
Yeah.
So they've been out there for a really long time. Of course, what most people believe it is and what we think it is some sort of electrical phenomenon having to do with the sand. But anyway, it's just this long-running story. And the problem is you can't film them from up close. You can only film them from far away.
Well, you can't see them from up close either. You can only see them from far away.
And the thing that weirds people out, too, is they'll move one way in like a certain speed, and then they'll speed up really fast, or they'll go one direction, then they'll double back and go a different speed the way back.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's not constant. It's totally random. It doesn't happen every. We had 300 people stop. Hey,
did you see any lights? Are there lights?
Are the lights going to happen tonight? Like, how would I? They're random.
You can Google it as well as I did, man.
There were a ton of people there. I was like, oh, these are just people from Marfa have nothing better to do, and like nobody knew. They're like, what time does the show start? Like they thought it was like a thing that like happened, like a fireworks show.
Julie says like ball lightning, but I'd have to know what the ball lightning is.
Yeah, it's like ball lightning. Ball lightning is one of the explanations for what's going on out there. It's static electricity that basically rolls. Ball lightning is what they call it. But yeah, in ghost lights, people call it, ghost lights happen in a lot of places. There's another place in Texas that has a ghost light.
The Anson lights, but that's a totally different kind of story.
Yeah,
that's a more classic ghost story.
Yeah, I saw some really good explanations of what might cause the lights, but it's. I have to say, after like going out there though, my thoughts on it are a little bit different. Even though, in spoiler alert, we didn't see anything while we were out. Like it didn't happen. I had the camera out there, everything. We didn't get any lights. There was a blinking cell tower. That was it.
Which we weren't so much expecting because we knew it was totally random.
Yeah. It's an occupational hazard of what we do. But what I really wanted to do was go out there in like we were talking about, like we took all these pictures and video and stuff while we were out there, and it doesn't translate until you're there. Like going and seeing these mountains is like totally majestic.
Taking pictures of mountains is useless.
And so my only exposure to the Marfa light has been videos that people have taken.
Yeah, me too.
And I can't trust anybody's video, but your dad had a video he took. So I trust his video because I know the source. But I'm still looking at it, and it's still dark, and it's still just lights on there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it could be headlights, old man, whatever. And he's like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whatever, right? And like, I can be as understanding as I want, but still in the back of my head, I'm thinking, this is going to be stupid. I'm going to go out there, and this is going to be, like, easy. But you go out there, and you look in the same place, like, where he was filming, and there's nothing. There's nothing and nothing and nothing, and then a mountain. Like, there's no highway that way. Like I see the argument he was making.
Yeah.
And I totally, like, felt that for a minute, where it's like that, no, you don't understand, you weren't there thing that we always just, like, roll our eyes at. And I get it. You don't understand. You weren't there. Like, so we took, I don't have it queued up or anything, but, we took some video of the area during the day, the next day, to like show what's there. There's like a little observatory.
Nothing.
Yeah, there's a little observatory off the highway, which, to say it's an observatory, it's just like a raised up.
I took some lovely pictures of infographic signs they had out there.
Yeah. And they had, actually, there's some really cool infographic history.
They'll tell you about the grass
there
that's out there and the critters. And
yeah, there's a lot of critters out there.
Sign explaining the lights and how the Whole area got bought and built on, and
Yeah. The observatory is really nice.
it's a nice observatory. It's got bathrooms.
That
I
is a
wouldn't
key.
recommend them. A bird attacked me.
What kind of bird was it? Was it on the infographic?
An attack bird.
Attack bird. Was it a Texas attack bird?
Texas attack bird. It was a West Texas attack bird.
West Texas attack bird. Are those carnivorous?
Yes, obviously. Why would it have attacked me?
Are they venomous or poisonous?
Neither. Birds are neither.
Okay.
You silly idiot.
It did fly. It was a West Texas flappy
Flappy fuck? West Texas flappy fuck.
flappy attack bird. West Texas flappy attack bird hashtag. So you guys got to trend that. Saguaro does not grow into.
Saguaro.
Oh, okay. What?
I already told him that.
Okay. Drove through Big Bend. Stuff is always on fire. We called the fire department. They were like, "Yeah, it's a control." That'd be funny. Hey, something's on fire. Yeah, that just happens. Go away, kid. You bother me. Oregon mountains. No, it was really, the observatory is really cool because it happens often enough, and I guess people are just on the side of the highway often enough looking at it.
There's always people out there because my dad, when he was out there, you can hear tons of people. There was a dude from Canada.
Yeah. I was going to say,
New Mexico.
Even during COVID, it draws some tourists to the town. They obviously get their revenue from two things: one, tourism for these stupid lights that don't always happen.
Well, the town also got famous because it's an arts district and because 2 movies were filmed out there. One where specifically they used a bunch of ranch land. And it was an old movie.
Lonesome Dove?
Giant.
Giant.
It's about the Texas oil industry. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Okay, Giant.
And then No Country for Old Men was partially filmed out there. They actually capped the Marfa sheriff with the air gun in it.
Well, you know what?
Fun movie facts from my dad.
After the speeding ticket I got, he has it coming.
You shouldn't speed through Marfa.
I wasn't speeding through Marfa. I was speeding
through their speed trap.
Through their speed trap coming up to Marfa around a corner. And I wasn't even exceeding the speed limit of the road that I had started on when it suddenly goes around the corner and in like a 10-foot period drops like 4 speed levels. And then the cop like 10 minutes later decides to come get me.
I thought we were through it.
Yeah.
He got us just as I was like, "Oh, we made it."
Yeah, like I was looking in my rearview mirror. I'm like, "Oh, I guess he's not interested in me," because I caught the sign. I was slowing down. Like it was a totally bogus ticket, and F them. I haven't paid it yet because they make it like impossible to contact them. There's like a website you have to find on your own, and I put in the ticket number, and it's just like, your ticket hasn't been turned in.
You even called them and asked, and they were like, "Oh, not yet."
Yeah, so I just get to call them every day until this dude decides to turn it. And I could just say F it and be like, okay, well, you didn't turn it in, screw y'all, and just like not pay it. But then I end up with like a warrant somewhere.
You'll get one here. It goes for the whole state.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
You'll just get dragged off in cuffs.
So I got to do all this goddamn legwork because they can't get any freaking revenue. So yeah, they ended up popping me for like 30 miles an hour over the speed limit because it goes from like all the way to 60.
It's like 65.
30. It goes all the way down to 30.
45, 35. Just bam, bam.
And then 30. And it's just like all in a row. And that sucks. And that is the real paranormal phenomenon happening in Marfa is how the fuck is that legal? That's the real mystery. Officer douche. It's probably illegal to say the officer's name. I don't know.
But anyway, so we hung out at Marfa the whole first night.
Yeah, we went to the observatory, and I filmed, and I filmed, and I filmed, and
we met some very pleasant people.
We met like one pleasant person, which was an odd experience. I have a very weird feeling. He was a filmmaker from Canada that worked in the oil field. That was he was a right-wing Canadian.
Yeah, what's a right-wing Canadian?
Which was pretty much like our middle ground. Like as soon as he started in with that, I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna. But he was very pleasant, and I was like, oh wow,
nice dude.
Yeah, it was just weird. Not that right-wing people are bad, just I'm very, very left.
My dealings with them have been less than pleasant.
Yeah, lately.
Lately.
Very lately.
I
super
find
lately.
most of them perfectly palatable.
Yeah. But yeah, we were out there, and like I said, like the main thing I wanted to see is like what was the makeup of the area. And so what it is you have this little observatory off the highway, and then you have about 30 feet from the observatory to basically like a barbed wire fence, or if you're Texan, barbed wire fence out there. And then it's just acres and acres and acres of just basically flat, grassy land all the way out until shadow of a mountain.
Talking about what people from Texas call it. Say the name of the ghost town we went to.
Teralingua.
Teralingua.
Teralingua. Teralingua.
There's no second I.
Teralingua.
Just thought I'd...
Teralingua? I don't know. But there's nothing out there. So
Nothing.
So
it's someone's ranch.
yeah, my initial... No, it's owned by the state. It's national park, technically. It's just that part of it's not open to the public. And my initial opinions of what we saw in your dad's video pretty much changed, because I could kind of see like maybe it was some kind of headlight phenomenon or something like it was a little weird. We proved it wasn't certain things when we looked at it, but
I trusted him. It wasn't a headlight.
having gone there now, it definitely isn't. It's complete opposite direction.
Plus that whole weird speeding up thing it did was...
It's definitely not a Fata Morgana. Like that was always my kind of go-to. Reading about it, it's definitely not that. And that's the phenomenon where you see like an illusion of like floating objects over the horizon, basically because of the heat waves, the heat exchange. I'm not sure what a St. Elmo's fire is. That's the other theory that's out there. One is that when high heat and low heat like switch places out there, it causes a certain phenomenon that may cause kind of like a lighting effect as it's moving around, some like static sort of thing. I don't know. There's like some validity to that. What I can say is there's definitely lights that people can record out there, but nobody can
repeatedly.
That nobody can get close to. I also thought maybe like people see. I think some of the faked videos, maybe, which I don't think I don't see any reason for anybody to fake Marfa light videos because apparently it happens often enough. But there are some like off to the right, like when you're facing from the observatory. So I guess that would be to the north. There is like a cell tower and, some of that stuff like way off in the horizon. But where you see the moving lights is to the south. So, but I could see them kind of moving their camera around in the dark to kind of do that. Of course, a lot of people think it's UFOs. There were a few people we talked to out there that were like, oh yeah, it's definitely aliens. And we got a bunch of ghost stories and alien stories
that weren't even about that. Yeah.
Yeah, from that other guy. What was the he was from where? Not Ontario. Alberta?
Starts with a C. Doesn't matter.
Canada?
Somewhere in Canada, you jackass.
I don't know. Was it the Deer Theater he was talking about? DEERE? There were a few places he was talking about up there that I need to go back. Of course, that'll be on like the recording or whatever. And also the audio out there, I really should have took a different...
Calgary.
Sorry. Yeah, he's from Calgary. Yeah, he was telling us about a whole bunch of different areas there. Of course, we have our friends in Lethbridge that we were telling him about. He's like, oh yeah, we're around there, around the same area. It's all in Canada, But I don't know. Marfa was interesting. I liked it. I would go back. I would hope to actually get to see the lights sometime. I mean, anytime we went back to Teralingua or anywhere over there, I would definitely stop in Marfa for one night. Like every time we're out that way.
Because that's where you want to start your day.
Definitely, yeah. Because it's like perfect driving distance from everywhere you want to go. But we did that the first night. And that was pretty cool. I liked that. We didn't catch anything. It's a little disappointing, but like I said, it's an occupational hazard. I was trying to keep my hopes down on that, which I got my hopes up a little bit. And I didn't. Nothing happened. Next morning, we get up, and so Teralingua, it's a ghost town. It's only got 50 people in it. It's like right on the border basically, or really close to the border. You have to drive right up along the Texas-Mexico
It's a little north. You have to
border.
turn north again.
Yeah.
The Big Bend road through the state park goes right,
It goes close enough.
And then you kind of go north for 20, 30 miles, and then you hit.
Yeah, it's right there off of the Rio, though. And it's this little town that is founded early 1900s. It was a mercury mine. I think initially it had 2,000 people in it.
It's also Big Bend Ranch State Park. We got confused because there's also Big Bend National Park out there. Because you kept seeing signs for Big Bend to the other direction.
Right.
There's two.
So what did we do?
We were at the state park.
State park.
Yeah.
Should we have went to the other one?
Why?
Oh, I don't know.
I like the one we went to.
Oh, apparently, well, there's also like some mines you can get into. I read about later. Like we didn't even scratch the surface of doing all the stuff.
Deep in Brewster County, almost to the Mexican border, lies Teralingua. Nestled between Big Bend National Park and Big Bend Ranch State Park, persists a small community of desert denizens and an accompanying mercury or quicksilver mining town.
Or Teralingua. I learned that word. Apparently, they. So what was cool about that mining town, like if you're into the history or whatever, is when they were mining mercury and doing this other process to get it, they ended up coming up with like some new kind of mineral that they were mining out there, and they ended up calling it Teralingua because of the town Teralingua, which we found out means 3 tongues.
Yes.
I thought it meant earth tongue, like Terra, but that would be Greek, not Spanish. It's obviously Spanish.
In the 1800s, it was discovered that the area was plentiful in cinnabar and red mercury sulfide, from which mercury can be extracted. This caused an influx of miners, blah, 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 drew a population of 2,000 by 1900, blah, blah, blah. Production peaked during the First World War. And by the start of the Second World War, the Chisos Mining Company had filed for bankruptcy, and people began to leave. In the 1960s, however, people began returning to Teralingua. In 1967, the world's first chili cook-off was held there. And thus, Teralingua gave birth to the now famous event. There is still a small but vibrant community currently in Teralingua, accessible from heading west on Highway 118 out of Big Bend National Park, or by traveling south along 118 from Alpine. It should be noted that there is another ghost town a mere 30 minutes from Teralingua. It's Lajitas, the other one we went through.
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't know about that.
I didn't even know it was a ghost town. I just thought all the towns out there were that shitty. What?
I don't think that's how you're supposed to say that, but okay.
Oh, sorry. Sparse?
Yes.
Sadly populated.
Low populated, yes. Ghostly.
Depressingly populated.
I had always wanted to go there. Like I said, that shows up on a lot of the trip advisors, especially like all the haunted stuff. And
I wanted to go through the park, so win-win.
Yeah. The park was really cool. Take a good car. Don't take a beater with you. Because there be mountains. It's a 15% grade.
It's a 15% grade, which is a lot.
It doesn't sound like a lot until you're like up there and you're like looking at the Rio like straight down the side of a mountain.
Well, like most mountain roads are rated to like the highway ones are under 12%.
Right. Man, this thing, it was in the way they were done too. Like it's not just like an uphill. It'd go like uphill, and then you couldn't see where the road went because you just go over this like little.
Oh, there was a billion times I thought there was going to be no road on the other side of
like
that.
I'd be going like 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden there's just like no road, and it's like whoa, just like this big drop, and it put my balls up in my throat every time. It was insane. It's a fun drive.
It was also very pretty. I've got some good pictures up.
Yeah, I posted up some of the pictures I took with like the DSLR and stuff like that.
And if you swim across the Rio and touch the other side, they'll charge you $5,000.
So yeah, if you're going down through the old Big Bend there,
Also be aware on the way back, they will stop you at Border Patrol.
Well, there's a border patrol on the way down.
There, but they don't usually stop on the way down.
Yeah, they don't care who's going into Mexico. We came back and got thoroughly questioned at the border.
They weren't like bad or anything. I think
No.
they literally. I talked to someone else who goes down there a lot. They literally stop every car that comes back from there.
Well, I'm sure they have to.
I bet there is a hell of a line when that place is popping.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder if that place is ever really
Popping?
Yeah. We saw like 4 cars the whole time we were out there.
I was super stoked about going to Teralingua because I'd seen so many accounts of it saying it was haunted. People have gotten really, really good EVPs out there in both Native American languages and English. You're making a face. You're making the stink face.
It's being real laggy. I was trying to make sure it was the phone and not.
I don't know.
Thing.
I know that's popping back up, so that's not a big deal. That's just the preview feed. If you're talking about that video there,
I'm talking about the one on my phone that I'm watching.
Oh, I don't know. Just keep going, like nothing's wrong. I'm sure it's fun.
What we were talking about.
Teralingua. So I've heard a lot of stories about how haunted it is. People have got really good EVPs out there in both.
And I had heard a lot of secondhand information from you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody got a really cool shadow video in the graveyard, and I was really curious about that because just like the Marfa thing, like not having been out there, like people can videotape all day long, but until you go out there and look,
such an interesting little cemetery.
Oh my god, that cemetery is so cool. So I do have video for that like queued up. I'll just have it playing in the background. Why not?
But yeah, it was like I'd never seen a cemetery like that before, so it was super cool for me because I'm a cemetery junkie. And I guess it was like Catholicism based because they had all the statues and like money and stuff and the little, what would you call, altars over the graves?
Yeah, basically an altar. Yeah.
And a whole bunch of just little trinkets people had left out there. Nice cemetery for such a small town. I guess enough people still go out there that they felt the need to build all that nice new stuff that was out there. I don't know.
I posted this video on our Facebook page last night and kind of shared it around. It's, I mean, another spoiler alert, we tried doing like an EVP session out there. We didn't get anything.
Also during the day, and they were like,
well, I mean, that doesn't matter. But
I mean, there were like tourists up the road. Cars did drive by. Like it.
Oh yeah. It was too contaminated to get anything good anyway. But we didn't even get something like accidental. Like there wasn't anything there. Like most of the audio was so kind of choppy and windy because it's up in the mountains. There's nothing like you can see the mountains in the back. Like the whole place is surrounded.
It's on the top of a kind of hill.
But yeah, this first place where I'm filming here, this is actually the entrance to the cemetery. And this cemetery, I've seen 2 videos where people get shadow figures like walking around between the graves. And in having been there now, like I wanted to know what was like around it. Like were they filming people walking around the cemetery or something like that? Nope, that's not a thing because it just drops off into a
canyon.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then I was wondering, like, okay, maybe it's like an animal or something that looks like it's walking upright, but no, it's definitely like human shadow. So unless it's a plant, unless it's like specifically faked,
one of those saguaro cactuses,
the famous West Texas walking cactus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is basically just like a pan shot of the cemetery, and it's almost like all the graves are just like dug by hand, like made by hand. Is what's cool. Like no shovels or anything. And like it's just how do you explain it? It's like a movie set.
Archaic.
Yeah, it's just nuts. And they actually have some newer burials out there.
People that I forget the rules if it's they have family already there or still have residents in the town. Can be buried there. They have rules.
So you can kind of see that fence. That's the back of the cemetery, and like right behind where you see the big cross in the upper right it just completely drops off into like a canyon. So there's nobody like walking around out there at night. Like there's nowhere to walk down there. It's a drop off. And it doesn't translate to video. Like that little hill that's in the back looks like it's right there. No, there's like a ledge. It's just, there's nothing. And like the nearest like structure that you see is like on the other side of the like canyon area. So it's a really cool spot, and people have got really good EVPs out there. Now I could really see like sound traveling out there.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to echo off of, like right where you're at, unless it's from like down below. How big would you say the cemetery was? It's really not as big as it feels. Like you could walk around in there for like 20 minutes, not look at the same grave twice.
Like a football field?
It's not real big, but it's real cool.
Not even?
And then right beside the graveyard, just like a little bit over the hill or whatever, is like all the what I don't know what kind of houses you would call these, but
Old?
Yeah. Is the first little part of the ghost town, and this is where we did some EVP sessions too, and we kind of explored through here. I mean, it was really cool, and it's like you can just walk around in there. It's not like it's all roped off or anything, and nobody's keeping you out. You can just kind of explore however you want.
Yeah, at your own peril.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see any like
no trespassing signs.
No, at your own risk.
Oh yeah, because there was a lot of like stabby metal on the ground.
Oh yeah, I could easily like just killed
Glass.
myself. Yeah, I mean this was literally just like a rundown check. Oh, this was cool too. There was this this is how old the building was. Is there was just like a little hole like dug in the side that they were using as the like fireplace stove or whatever. And apparently there's more to this ghost town that we didn't even get to see. It was like further up the road. And it's like on the side of a mountain. You got to like drive around. There's like a schoolhouse.
We're already very
and stuff.
hot by this point. It's 107.
Yeah.
I wanted to die.
We walked around the gift shop like one time.
And they had no air conditioning.
No AC. We were just like, okay,
Nope.
back to the car. This was like the thing. I mean, we stayed there a couple hours and tried some stuff, and I went through all the tapes and all the footage. We didn't get anything during the day. And of course, a bunch of people would probably be like, well, you should have stayed the night and did like a thing.
Not a whole lot of places to stay out there.
There's one place to stay in Teralingua, and it's a trailer.
There's little cabins with sad-looking window units.
Yeah.
No, we did not get to investigate this at night. There was nowhere to stay. We'll have to go back if we ever want to do that.
Yeah, I would want to investigate it at night, and they don't. From what I understand, they let you. Like you're not discouraged. You don't have to call and let them know. Or like if you get like one of those cabins or whatever, you can go check them. You can wander around at night. It's not a big deal. There is private property on the opposite side of the road from it. Yeah, so you're pretty much to the places we had in the video. And I'll just let it replay and replay.
Like in cooler weather in a tent. Does it ever get cool enough out there for me to be willing to stay during the day in a tent?
I don't know.
Oh, I would rather die than sleep in a tent, so y'all had to do that without me.
I could see how a lot of people would say that that's a good haunted location. I think it deserves its place on the list as a place you like if you're a ghost hunter or if you're just a traveler, that is a cool place that you need to go see like before you
the whole
die.
drive.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, the plan is to go back. I mean, that was just like a little 1-day trip out there. Took us 8 hours to get to Marfa. It's 2 hours to get down to Teralingua from Big Bend, and then we just drove back home from there. So
now, if you're going from Marfa all the way through Big Bend to Teralingua, that's another 6-hour drive.
Yeah, and I would maybe say
there is a straighter shot from from Alpine to Teralingua. We just did not choose to take that because we wanted to go.
Yeah, we didn't realize we could go through Big Bend. Well, we didn't want to loop back around through Marfa and come home. We wanted to loop back that way and then just hit the highway and come back.
But be prepared for that 8-hour drive on your way back.
And if I had to make if you're trying to make like a trip out of it, my suggestion would be stay in Marfa one night, do the thing in Marfa that night, and then make your next night reservation like at Teralingua and go stay in Teralingua and do an investigation that night, and then leave that night and go do something.
That way, so you have a lot of time in the park. You have as much time as you want in the little ghost town.
The park is worth it, and like you said, there's another ghost town right nearby.
Oh, the park is that's gonna be my favorite. The park was my favorite.
My plans are next time we go, I would say that we do a night in Marfa, do a night in Teralingua, and then the next day hit the other ghost town on the way out and make it like a 3-day sort of trip. And then maybe hit something else on the way back. Like you could technically shoot up like through San Antonio and come home or whatever.
Yeah.
And go see the Alamo. Like there's just so much cool stuff.
Alamo not worth it.
I've never been to the Alamo. See, it's easy for somebody who's been there to be like, that sucks, you know.
There's a wall and a hill.
I'm so not Texan. I've never been to the Alamo.
I went when I was a kid.
I think everybody I know went to the Alamo once when they were a kid. I never went. And what's sad is I've been to San Antonio. Like I had to drive down there for a trip one time.
I've been to San Antonio many times as an adult and have never gone back to the
It just smells like tortillas. That's my only memory of San Antonio, having to go down there for work.
Were they good tortillas?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it smelled amazing. I was just like, I got like 2 miles out and I'm just like,
I live here now.
yeah, it smells like tortillas. This is awesome. Everybody's like, you should go down to the boardwalk, but it was all closed. It was like
I've done the Riverwalk.
I liked that grave a lot. That's actually one of the newer graves, but I think if you get a grave out there, I think they might have a regulation. It's got to look old, maybe. I don't know.
They had some newer style stones.
Like that one. There were only like 2 just like upright.
And they had 2 in the front that were like even newer looking.
Yeah, like the marble kind you would see in like a modern cemetery.
Yeah. Yeah, just let that run repeatedly for the rest of the show.
Should I?
No, please don't.
Oh, okay. Because it's got you in full-on redneck mode out there.
Oh, my video just cut off. Was that?
Why'd your video cut off?
I hope it wasn't because the video cut off. My Facebook's just being stupid.
I think that's you. I think that's all you.
Well, I took my phone off the thing.
Yeah, Julie said it looks peaceful. Yeah, like if you can handle the heat, like that's a great place just to go chill. Because we do that at cemeteries anyway, but we're never more than like 20 minutes away from a 7-Eleven or jump in the car and drive the rest of the way into Glenrose or something like that. It's not too bad. The problem with out there is you get there and you're like there, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
if you break an ankle, you live there.
There was that city that wasn't even on the map.
It's a dry heat. Catherine just said, but it's a dry.
It's a dry heat. It's so dry.
It actually was probably about as obnoxious as 102 here. So what is that? 5 degrees worth of dry heat?
Yeah.
Still 102.
It was more like a dry heave. Is what it was. What was that little town that we ended up in? It wasn't even on the map. It's just like buried in the middle of the map. We kept seeing all the big trucks and we're like, you think they're going into Mexico? Like we didn't even know, and then we come up on this like town, and we stopped in that grocery store.
Ojitos.
No, that's a drink. That's a Mexican soda pop.
OJI something.
I don't know. There's some cool. That would be the only place you could go though,
and that is literally 6 hours away.
Yeah.
You could actually probably get to Alpine faster than you could.
The whole time I was sitting there, my car's newer. I just recently bought it.
We were in that place in that last city. We were like, should we get water? Let's get a pack of water, just in case.
It's still in the back of my car. I got Cujo water in the car. But all I was thinking about was like, now would be when the car suddenly like decides to overheat.
And now would be when no other cars come by. And that's when the people who run this state park don't decide to look through or
drive
do anything before the place closes.
Okay, so like I can't imagine a tow truck coming through there, or where the fuck would they take it? Like I get towing with my insurance,
have to tow
right?
it the whole way back to Fort Worth.
Yeah, like the
next stop Abilene.
Because like there wasn't anything in Alpine, there wasn't anything in Marfa.
Take it all the way to freaking Odessa.
Yeah, it'd be this like nightmare. I was thinking like, what if you're out there hiking and like you break your knees because
helicopters.
Like, yeah, the only way you're getting anywhere is a helicopter, and they're probably taking you to like San Antonio or something. Like, you know,
This helicopter stops. You get out. What is this? This is Jack's basement.
yeah,
What?
it's just
He's the local doctor.
I didn't like. We've been to some really like isolated places, but I've never felt like that like paranoid about like what would happen if, you know, I'd be like, somebody will eventually come along.
Why does this man just have a leather strap and a whiskey soaked sponge? What is this?
Like, so, and there were there's trails out there. You can, apparently the hiking trails are fucking phenomenal.
I bet they're brutal.
But, yeah, and that's the thing. I'm like, who hikes out there? Because
People that are really into hiking.
And they must have like sat phones and a backup plan. Because we got off on on like two of those little trails just to like go down to the Rio, which by the way was 100% not what I expected at all.
It's very pretty.
Because I've heard so many stories like about how laughable the Rio is in places where it's just like a babbling brook and you can just like walk across. Dude, there were like rapids and stuff where we went to look. Like it was deep enough that the water was like green. I wanted to say algified. That's not the right word.
Now, there were places in the river that it just obviously looked very deep, like where there weren't rapids, and it just looks like it's not moving.
And it was like not just like a walk across. Like there were some parts where it was kind of far.
Take a swim.
But it was really cool just driving along all that and just being able to look to the right and be like, well, there's Mexico, like right there.
Yeah.
It was cool. But there's all these signs. It's like basically you can drive up to it. You can get in the Rio, but if you touch the other side,
$5,000.
It's a $5,000 fine. And I was like, what was it? It's yeah.
Your car flips, goes into the Rio, and your bad luck is touching the other side, and they still write you the $5,000.
Right? Yeah, they tow your car out of there, you know, save your life or whatever. That's bad enough, and then you get a $5,000 fine and a warrant from ICE. It's just like, it's scary the whole time. I was just waiting for like Homeland Security to like pop out of the bushes. Why are you over here by the water? I didn't see any of Trump's wall anywhere through there.
Okay, because I thought about that while we were driving through it for real. I was like, who would build a wall? No one is crossing this border right here. You would fucking die.
It'd be a smart place to do it.
Except you die.
Well, I think what it is like you would have like some kind of trail and you would like come over, and you would be coordinating with somebody on the other side to drive through Big Ben.
But the thing is, as big as Big Ben was on our side of the border, it's just as big on their side.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find any roads through that bitch on
Dude,
satellite.
you would like look at the mountain, and then you would like look up from the road. Like I had to keep my eyes on the road. You were the one doing most of the looking around because you'd get like vertigo. And like I thought we were gonna like careen off the mountain a couple of times. It was so nuts. I bet that mountain's haunted from people careening off of it.
Oh, look at the pretty
That mountain's haunted.
Sounds about right.
Oh, Allie brought home a rooster. We need to somehow harness the power of chickens and roosters in ghost hunting. Just so we can incorporate Alwie more, because she's becoming one of those chicken people.
Yeah, I've noticed.
You know,
she's becoming one of those.
What is it about freaking chicken people? They're like, I get it if you're a farmer.
Worse than dog or cat people.
I know, it's weird. I get it like if you're a farmer and you're like, I raise chickens, whatever. But they don't talk about it all day. And then you get these like suburbia bored housewives.
And you get your kind of people like halfway out in the country where you can almost understand it.
It's not really the country. It's just Stephenville.
It's 20 miles outside the town.
It's basically a meth bodega.
But the weirdest shit is I see this popping up like in my neighborhood with people my age. And it's all people my age.
Dude, there's like two people that have like chicken coops in this neighborhood.
Millennials and chickens.
I don't know. And she's got like 6 different kinds of chickens. Like it's like, oh, I've got a silk chicken, I've got a tuxedo chicken. Oh, this is my formal chicken.
There are types of chickens.
There's different types of chickens, and she's bringing home a rooster because she wants to make more chickens, I assume, or she's too cheap to get an alarm clock. I don't know what it is, but all these people talk about is their goddamn chickens.
You just gonna talk shit about her.
I know. I'm waiting for the comment to pop up. It hasn't yet.
She's okay with it.
I'm sure she is.
His name is Nugget. That is the best comment that could have popped up after that rant.
McNugget.
That is perfect.
It should be McNugget since she's Scottish. Anyway.
But it's his first name is Mick. Ipsy. He's a bantam, so he's a toy chicken.
Told you. See,
and
I told you.
Won't breed with
I
them.
hate toy animals. You put toy at the beginning of any type of animal
It
name,
makes it shittier.
it just somehow makes it the Walmart brand of that. It's like,
know.
I've got a poodle. I've got a teacup poodle. I have a toy poodle. You fucking sadist. Go home. Why would that animal is already horrible. Why would you turn it into a toy something? Like, I have a pit bull. I have a toy pit bull. What are you doing? The thing is horrible. What else could you screw up? A pug.
No, you could take it. You could take an excellent dog like a Labrador and make it a toy, and it'd probably still be awful.
Toy Labrador. It just eats and eats and eats and eats and spins around in a circle and poops itself to sleep.
It loves you a lot, though.
Yep, 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 yep.
Ugh.
I don't know. But we need to incorporate chickens into our, because I feel like we would get more hits. We could cross post more into like chicken groups.
How to get yourself into weird niche categories.
Yeah, that seems to be the new thing. Like, I really like all the new groups you're joining where it's got these really long names.
Those are tag groups.
I know. We need an NT Paranormal tag group, and I'm trying to think what it is. Like, Haunted Chickens Unite
sweetie,
to find.
You don't need anything to make a tag group other than an idea and a willingness to make the group. Think of a phrase that exists in the English language. If it's not already a tag group, it probably is. But if it isn't, make it.
How to eat a ghost out of a meth house?
You know, I would be surprised if that wasn't already a tag group.
Yeah, I really want to go with that. It was a fun trip. So we have another investigation coming up. I don't have a bunch of details about it, but our good friend Sam, who does not believe in ghosts, texted me out of the blue, just, hey, you need to come check this place out that I work. And I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah, he's doors slamming on its own. Sent me video of doors opening and closing on their own. Says a water cooler just like moved on its own. Apparently the owner's got a bunch of different stories. It's pretty local, and we haven't done an investigation in a while, so I'm really itching to do that. I want to get back into things like hardcore. I want to do more podcasts. I want to do more investigating, and I want to go back and kind of retouch a lot of our older investigations, because I got some ideas on new videos. I don't think the Amazon thing is working as good as I wanted it to. I'm thinking about pulling those off and just going ahead and throwing them on our YouTube channel, letting them do what they're going to do, and just starting from scratch. Just screw it. We're doing a new thing. Things have changed.
Seems good to me.
Group's a little bit different. The way we do things is a little bit different. The way we think about things is a little bit different. The way we interact with people is a little bit different. I don't know. I think I want to get away from this like ghost show format. I think I want to
do a cooking show.
No, I mean
chickens.
Like here's the history of the place with the big scary voice, and then we go in and then we stay overnight and we're like, oh, what is that? Like, I'm not because
it's lame.
It is. It was, and we do our thing, and we're legit. And there's stuff behind it, but we're also trying to be entertained. Like, the first thing we learned is you can't make a 6-hour video that's just honest. It's not entertaining. Nobody cares. They're like, I respect what you're doing, bro. I'm like, then, help us get more hits. No, that's like 6 hours, man. I'm not really into that. And then you try to make something entertaining, and like kind of compress it.
This is all like those other shows.
It's just like everything else, man.
We edited out all the good stuff.
It's like, dude, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Was that meme? What is that thing? What is that? The Notebook with Ryan Gosling, where he's just like, what do you want?
Oh, the one terrible Ryan Gosling movie.
Anyway, but
I'm sure there's more than that. I'm just kidding.
So I'm done trying to pander at all. I think I'm at the point, I don't give a fuck if you're watching anymore. I'm going to go back to doing the fun bit. And then I think we're just going to post up like shorter like vignettes of, hey, this is what happened on our freaking investigation. And then just maybe talk about other stuff like the trip. Kind of like what we're talking about here. We took a trip. We did some kind of ghost hunting, but it didn't really pan. We didn't find anything. There's nothing to talk about. So we'll talk about the trip or whatever. I don't know. Maybe with like our videos and our media and stuff, we'll kind of veer away from it being like, oh, this is all about like ghost hunting and things like that. And it'll just be about like our group and the things we do and stuff like that. But maybe it'll be like a little bit more about urban exploring. I don't know. These are just ideas. If anybody has ideas, give us ideas. But
I know Catherine says she ugly cries at the Notebook, and I just don't understand why.
Well, she also uses essential oils, so it might be that. Ooh, sick burn. We're burning our entire fan base today. What was that we just watched? What was that documentary? Unwell, the first episode. Please go watch that, Kat.
Go watch the whole thing. It's awesome.
By the way, any listeners that don't normally listen, Kat is a friend of ours. That's just a funny burn.
Please don't send us hate mail.
Yeah, that's...
you know what? Send it.
Well, I don't care. Like, Kat's a smart person, okay? She doesn't think it's the cure for cancer, anything like that.
You don't, right?
My mom made me take her to the grocery store the other day, and she slipped 2 little boxes of essential oils into the cart, right? And I'm loading up the thing, and I must have had that, like, I couldn't mute the look on my face. What's that look I get that you tell me not to get?
When you're a fucking moron and please stop talking look?
Yeah.
The one you can't control
I don't know. All I know is I was putting it on the conveyor, and she goes, I just like the way it smells.
The reason we won't let you talk to clients anymore?
They like me because I shoot them straight.
No, they don't. They all get me on the corner, and they're like, why is that dude such an asshole?
They do not. Do they really? They do not.
Yeah, that's totally never happened.
Really?
It has happened at least once.
Who did that?
I'm telling you.
Which client?
That is a confidential informant, sir.
You're fired. Okay.
I'll do my own show for you.
You have your own show. I don't know. I want to God. Ow.
Stop hitting stuff with your hand.
This left hand has taken such a beating over the past few days, man. I freaking... okay.
Because he was playing Beat Saber and he slammed it into something like an idiot.
This started a few days ago. That's what this Band-Aid is. Have you ever had an ingrown fingernail? I didn't even know that was a thing. I've had ingrown toenails before. You got to dig them out. How do you get an ingrown... Like, it just...
HIPAA. It's HIPAA. No, he's not a CI. That's HIPAA. Sorry. Ingrown fingernail.
What?
HIPAA. I can't... It's for legal purposes. I can't disclose the name of my patient.
We don't...
Ingrown fingernail.
Anyway, so like the end of my finger has got gangrene, and then we were playing Beat Saber last night, and I broke my middle finger just like
wildly flailing.
Okay, first off, that level, you have to do a certain amount of movement, and you can't beat that level.
I can't.
And so I'm like flailing.
Mostly because you have to flail like a fool, so I keep having him beat it for me.
Yeah, so I do that, and I'm just like, bam, slamming on the table, and I've like busted my knuckle open, and blood's going everywhere. And it turned black.
It was way less impressive than he makes it sound.
It was horrible. It took a whole Band-Aid to cover it up. It hurts. So it hurts bad now. And my finger's crooked. And then, of course, I just keep whacking my left hand on stuff. It's really bad.
Very painfully, apparently.
It hurt. It almost made me cry. I was going to keep the VR headset on, but I needed to attend to my hand. It sucked. How did I get off on that? I have no idea.
You were talking about that show we were watching, in the process of watching.
Oh, yeah. We should. You know what? We need to watch the rest of that show, and then we need to do a Strictly Sickly podcast based on those topics.
You injured your hand playing Beat Saber, and that sounds dirty. It does.
It was.
Because the next one's on, speaking of sounding dirty, tantric sex. But I want to watch the bee sting therapy one, because that's one I've heard about a lot.
I would think that would be good for allergies, maybe?
The bee sting thing's for inflammation because something in their venom is supposed to decrease. Once it causes an initial inflammation. Oh, Emilio's sad because he missed a whole hour.
You didn't miss much, buddy.
We were
Actually, you
talking
did.
about
You might actually like the stuff about Teralingua.
Yeah. The show is Unwell on Netflix. But yeah, the bee sting ones, when I heard before, there's something about their venom that's supposed to be good for pain. I haven't actually done any research into the medical aspects of this. Once it initially hurts, it's supposed to decrease pain in the future.
Is it a specific type of bee?
Honeybees?
Okay. Okay. Well, at least it's not like bumblebees. Have you ever been stung by a bumblebee?
Why would I have been stung by a bumblebee?
Dude, those motherfuckers back up like a good 3 feet before they come at you. They hurt. They hurt so bad. I got stung in the knee by one, and it made my knee swell up like twice this. I don't see any medical benefit to that at all.
They do essential oils. What else did I see on the preview that they were doing? Oh, the intermittent fasting. That's all the rage right now. I hope they do one on the keto diet.
Well, there's benefits to both of them. I'm not going to say that they're healthy per se, but they're
no fad diet's healthy.
Well, so like the keto diet, I'm not saying just like if you go out and just eat a bunch of buttered steak, like is 100% your meal. But cutting out a lot of your carbs, if you're diabetic, is
That's
really smart.
Still basically carb cutting. Why did they give it a new name? Because it's supposed to throw your body in a pee on these little sticks.
Atkins, keto, all the same thing. But I think the keto diet focuses less on just eating a ton of meat and just eating no carbs to, hey, you need to eat a more balanced diet that doesn't include as many carbs.
All because people can't understand the phrase, if you eat a balanced diet and exercise.
It's true.
But anyway, moot point, and probably the intermittent fasting one, which has kind of died out recently.
It's apparently they did. They just concluded a big study on it where they actually found intermittent fasting did help a lot. But I think people get the wrong idea about what you're supposed to do with the intermittent fasting. You're only supposed like the time periods are really staggered.
You fast for like a little bit, and then you eat a normal for like
a
little bit.
You still eat
like
every day. You're talking hours at a time.
There was one who was taking bee stings for treatments on Facebook. Then they die. How is that okay for bee pop? The one I saw was actually a bee, whatever that is. Bee tamer.
Beekeeper?
Yeah, that's it.
Beeologist?
I feel like I missed the only topic part of the show. Yes, absolutely. We ran out of topic. It's all rant now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's loosely science-based.
Is there a special bee farm just for the... Yes, those are the Kevorkian bees.
The West Texas Kevorkian bee.
We're killing them for their own good.
Let's see, what other things have we learned? Oh, apparently anybody can just call themselves a fucking doctor.
Oh yeah, apparently that's big.
That's huge. Oh, I'm a doctor. That Dr. Z guy. Okay, so Kat, this show is for you, Kat. It was since we told you to go watch that specific documentary. Dr. Z can eat my ass. He is not a doctor. Do not listen to that.
He said
guy.
the thing that makes me want to murder people. What is that? It was...
I hope it's not something Kat said.
He was, my seminar for how to use essential oil is only $77 for the masterclass. Literally anyone can afford that. $77, even if you're on food stamps. Just stop eating at Starbucks or getting coffee at Starbucks twice a week and you can afford that. You motherfucker. You think anyone on food stamps is getting Starbucks? I can't.
Can't even get Folgers. What are you talking about?
I haven't had coffee in 6 years because I'm poor.
I had to push you away because you were just breathing so heavy.
That is like the rage phrase. That one. People say that on Facebook, and I'm like, where does this person live?
Why is Starbucks always the target for this is what millennials waste their money on is fucking Starbucks?
Because it's stupid, expensive coffee.
I get that it's stupid.
You think they think we don't know that?
Do they think that they're not paying overpriced something? They're paying like $20 for MAGA hats. Like, it's a hat, dude. It's a red hat. Go write MAGA on it. I can think of a million things that are just fucking overpriced that old people spend their money on. Quit ragging on Starbucks. You know, I spend more money on Monster energy drinks than freaking Starbucks. That's a soda that's $3 a can, man. And that's at a cheap place. Like, when did that fucking happen? Did you notice that? You remember, like, you used to go buy a can of soda? It was 59 cents.
No.
Came in a little...
I'm not ancient.
Freaking 16-ounce can. Shut up.
I don't know, old man.
Fucking screw you. But they came out with energy drinks, and instead of just coming in a can, like everything else, they put it in this, like, double shotgun blast to the ass can. And it's $3 because it's got a little extra caffeine and guarana in it.
That's a good point, Catherine. I've never taken an EO masterclass that is $77. That's stupid for something you can Google, which is stupid because I get migraines sometimes. One of the things that helps me is like peppermint because that does that. That's a thing that does that.
That's
if
just
it's
a
not a
thing.
migraine, if it's just a headache, maybe that makes me feel a little better.
I don't know how our paranormal show ended up
Why
on
do
essential
I have
oils,
to spend
but
$77 on
I flat out want to
it's a
say
conspiracy.
essential oils, okay? They don't cure anything. There is benefit to some of the stuff, like peppermint it's a diuretic,
Like clove oil or for tooth pain.
and
Lavender for making you calm. Except it enrages me.
the lemon and the tea tree oil will dry stuff out. Like it's all good in little increments for specific things.
These fools are putting them in capsules and eating them.
Just stupid shit. And the other thing is, what's the name of the company?
Oh, it's fucking... Is it doTERRA or Young Living?
Either one of them.
doTERRA is the one I have a hate on.
But you're paying $20 for this little jar of like clove oil when you can go to like Walgreens and get like a tub of it for like 39 cents, like in the like tooth pain department, like you were saying.
Yeah, I said at my pharmacy they sell this like big ass bottle of clove oil for like $2.
What? And I think you had a great idea. Is we just need
Go
to
buy clove oil.
Yeah, just don't buy it from the big companies. Don't get into the pyramid scheme and just start selling essential oil. And I can make my own essential oils here. Like I can boil down some grass and be like, oh, this is grass oil. It cures diarrhea and leaky nipple. And people will just be like, oh man, I've got leaky diarrhea nipples. And just,
Not for internal use, Catherine, but she was buying them from a specific MLM company that says used to say it was okay to use internally. And that doctor that was on there also said it was okay to use internally.
he said it cured cancer.
He said it cured cancer.
Because some guy had cancer, took it, and then didn't have cancer. And that was his proof. It had to be that oil that cured his cancer. That had to be the thing that did it. Where's your research? Oh,
Guy with cancer.
guy
Research.
with cancer had it. Took
I have a doctorate. Guy with cancer.
I felt bad for that poor lady who
the one with
she had the really bad tumor.
She had a brain tumor.
Cancerous tumor. And they operated on as much as they could, and they said, well, we can't do any... She contradicted herself a lot, too. Because...
I think a lot of that was... It was a story from when she was 13, too.
Yeah, but they said, oh, you can't do radiation or whatever. And then she started doing essential oils, and then it went away. And like you said, that poor doctor, that thing was already in remission on its own. And then because she was taking the essential oils... That's what gets the credit for saving her, not the like hours and hours of labor of him just like cutting tumor out.
Dude, I don't know, but I don't want to riff about essential oils for the next 2 hours because I know a lot of idiots. But
I don't know. Let's talk about it on your next Strictly Sickly.
No, we're doing arthritis on my next Strictly Sickly.
Oh, okay.
That comment has already.
Well, essential oils. There's essential oils for arthritis. I hear peppermint is good for it, and.
For normal arthritis, there might be some essential oil stuff that might decrease your pain by 0.10%. But
for some people, 10% might be the difference between
10.
That might be the difference between life and death. The line is still the line. So I'm all for that. So we do have another investigation coming up, but
I can't. I don't think you're allowed to say that, Catherine.
She contradicted herself because her memory sucks due to all the operations.
There was a brain tumor.
Well, there's an essential oil for that too.
A memory oil.
Memory oil.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I was looking at the time. Been live hour and 12 minutes. So I'm going to revisit some of our old cases. I think the next one I'm going to...
Back to that point we made 45 minutes ago.
I'm going to start going through all the Granbury jail footage. And I think that's going to be the next thing I put out. And I think that's going to end up being the new format, whatever I end up doing with that. But I think I'm just going to do a more focus on the, like, this is what we did. This is what we found. Less like actually trying to explain anything we're doing, and, you know, less trying to market it as anything that's ever going to let me not have to work a day job anymore, because apparently that's just not a thing that's going to happen. So
Duh.
Just going to have to live with it.
You're really old to have these dreams with your 59-cent soda.
I know what one of the things. Rewind back a little bit. I posted a few things on Facebook this week on the NT Paranormal page. If anybody was paying attention, So one of the things I wanted to do in the podcast is, like, during the week, I'm going to post stuff on our page for people to look at and comment on and stuff. And then when we do the podcast, in addition to, like, whatever our main topic is, we'll kind of touch on those posts or those stories. So I want to start with that. One of the ones I posted is this guy. It's called The Devil's Cauldron. I believe, I don't have it on me. I posted it on there. I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's basically this big, open cave system, and it goes down and down and down. And it's like that bottomless pit that's in, is it Carlsbad that has, like, the bottomless pit? Like, they don't know how far down it goes.
There's a bunch of caves that say they have a bottomless pit, but I can't think of one that actually has a bottomless pit.
There's one in specifically I'm thinking of. It's called the Devil's Cauldron or whatever, and it's not bottomless. They know there's water at the bottom of it, but it's like so hot, like because it's so close to, like, not the core, but it's hot. It's like in the mantle, because it's like a what do you call that? Like, they think it's like a prehistoric volcanic tube or whatever. So the water's, like, almost boiling hot or whatever. So there's no, like, fish or life that we know of down there. You know, and they've measured, it's like, it's an impossible drop, whatever. Anyway, super deep, super creepy. There's, like, some areas around it where you can kind of, like, explore and do, like, some cave diving and stuff. It's incredibly dangerous. People have died in there. It's known to be, and this wasn't the point of this guy's video, it's just, but that area is known to be incredibly active and haunted. Like, ghost hunters go out there and get really good EVPs and stuff like that.
Was this the place where you heard screaming like
that?
Yeah.
Down? So this YouTuber, what he does is he goes and he buys brand new iPhones. Like people love and hate his thing, because his thing is he'll go buy brand new iPhones and do horrible things to them, like these, like, $600, these $1,000 phones. I don't know where he gets it. I think he just makes money as a YouTuber doing this.
Catherine says it's all the internal components melting, not people screaming.
Right. But he'll do, like, he'll destroy them. Like, he'll have, like, 2 buses hit them, whatever. So on this one, he decides he's going to drop it in the Devil's Cauldron while it's recording the whole time to record the fall. He's going to follow it with a drone, and it's got, like, a string attached to it or whatever, so that he can retrieve it and get the video before it, you know, just sinks into oblivion. Because they don't know how, the reason they say, they know where the water level is on it, but they don't know how much deeper it goes down from there. So anyway, he drops it in there, whatever, it records, like, pretty much the whole way down. It's a really interesting video. But and he's not a ghost hunter or anything. Like I said, he just does stuff to tech or whatever. But when they replayed the video, about halfway down in the cave, you start to hear what sounds like screaming. What?
Belio said, God, my Catherine, spoilers, he ain't even at the end.
Yeah, no shit. You're out of the group.
Well, if he wouldn't take 7 years finishing his story.
I'm trying to do a setup
story.
Here. I'm trying to fill out freaking time here. It's a goddamn radio show. Okay.
Finish the
I'm
story.
done.
Oh my God! Do
No, I'm
not
done.
punish them.
No, I'm done. No, you know what everybody gets now? Dead air.
Anyway,
this
halfway
podcast
through-
is haunted.
Halfway through,
I hear something.
They
I hear
hear
something in the
screaming.
back. What is that? What is it?
which Brad is convinced wasn't this guy editing stuff in there. Or
No,
something like
he
that.
showed it was an unedited video. I don't necessarily. Oh man. I want to bring. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. It's not editing. He's not. He didn't edit it to make it come up that way, right? So if it's not paranormal, okay. By the way, who is liking the new Facebook? Because it's just confusing the piss out of me. Here it is. Let me pull this up real quick. Man dropped an iPhone in it's Nevada's Devil's Cauldron and records screaming voices.
Seems like a thing that would be in Nevada.
So let me make that big. Pause that. Bring this up. I got to bring up the desktop audio here, and I also got to make that loud. Okay, this should work. So, like you can see that's not. Well, it doesn't look that deep because that's where that is, but it's. And that's just before it hits the water. They're definitely a weird sound. Okay, I'm playing that again.
LastPass will fill in your username and password during a portion.
Screw that.
So we're going to be basically having a dingling.
I don't want to watch your whole YouTube.
For about 30.
I want to go there. That looks like a cool spot.
Super nice landing, guys. Let's check.
The link I had it keyed up. Okay. Okay, here we go. It sounds like it's cool.
This is great. Chasing an iPhone in the wind.
And on 11, but we came out with a winner. So I wanted to include this one little segment here as well, guys. I noticed after listening to the audio of the last drop test that went into the water, the audio sounded pretty eerie, and I wanted to include kind of the unaltered version here. So I have the clip here. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and I edited, for the actual video, because it's just a lot of talking, and then the drone is flying, and then I'll show you guys the actual drop here. And then right there, you could hear it definitely sounds like some yelling. It's really weird, guys. I don't know what to think of it. Especially since the first dip there was no noise at all. And then the recording actually stopped right here, which is also really weird. But I just wanted to show that, guys, as proof. I didn't edit the audio or anything. That was the actual drop there in those hot springs.
What's your opinion on it?
I don't know. I don't know nothing about iPhones. Not the voices of the undead.
Oh, well, obviously. I think it's, but I do think it sounds like that. Like, I think it's cool.
It sounds fucking weird, but
it sounds horrifying. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the screams on the recording for Event Horizon. That's exactly what it sounds like, where they're just in the back, like, and he's holding out his eyeballs. I'm just like, oh my God, that is the portal to hell. It's so awesome. It could be the sound. I could, like, if it's falling at like terminal velocity, maybe it's the sound of like the air moving over the mic in something echoing off the inside of the chamber. But this is like the reason I thought this video is cool is it's another example of like why we went out to Marfa though. Because like I can look at your dad's video all day long until you like go out there and kind of do something and get a lay of the land. You can't really definitively say what something is or isn't without kind of getting hands-on on it.
So I'm going to need y'all to all go buy iPhones.
I'd love to go. I'd like to do the same thing, but instead of like just dropping something, I'd like to take a drone with like a mic, like a recorder, and just have it hover like at a certain point and see if we could get like some voices or something like that. It sounds really cool though. What I was gonna say is like I'm convinced he didn't edit the video. Like whatever that sound is, it really recorded it. But I'm curious what those sounds could be. I always find it interesting when like logical people come to the conclusion that something could be paranormal, because this dude's like a real big tech guy. Like he doesn't do anything with paranormal or anything like that, and he was creeped out by it, but he knows enough about tech to I think some of the people were saying just what I was saying. It's the air moving over the mic, and he had some really good technical explanation about why it wasn't that, because you can hear like the wind all over it, but like that screaming in the back, like it didn't make any sense.
Emilio says maybe air expanding from the seams. It's brief enough and would explain the twisting.
Maybe, possibly. Don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was a good one. So that wasn't the thing I posted that would ultimately convince you. That's not the thing that's going to get you on my side on any of this. How about Allie? You think it would get Allie in on it? I don't know. Let's ask her. Hey, Allie, what do you think of it? Oh, I think that's pretty convincing. There was a lot of screaming in that video. Obviously, Allie's not here. So, yeah. What else do you want to talk about? Your childhood?
Going to watch that show we were watching today.
Oh, okay. So I guess we're going to get ready for Strictly Sickly next week. Watch a whole bunch of infuriating medical documentaries. Man, how about Lucifer, man? That's pretty much paranormal. How do you feel about that mid-season finale?
I'm mad about that, too. Let's not talk about that. They shouldn't make half seasons. That's some bullshit.
We've waited all this time to find out what's going to happen with freaking Lucifer. And then, what was it, 8 episodes?
8 episodes.
8 episodes in, we're just like, what?
Like, part of me is glad that means there's going to be more episodes, but the rest of me is just angry.
Dude, if the... oh my God.
Watch them come out with an end movie or something so we don't even get like 8 more episodes.
I'd be okay with a movie.
Okay, I'd take it.
I'll take a movie, especially if Constantine shows up. That would be awesome. And then it leads into a new Constantine, and they reboot Constantine for Netflix. Or not reboot it, they just pick up the next season.
Constantine wasn't bad. The show, not the movie with Keanu Reeves.
I don't know. Well, I like the movie with Keanu Reeves, but not as Constantine. Like, I almost wish they had called it something else and just made it its own thing. But
can we edit out Keanu Reeves?
No.
Oh.
It's good. He's good for what he is. He's not comic book Constantine. It's just this like alternate universe where it's like, oh, that's a cool take on it. It's like Frank Miller's version of Batman. That's not canon Batman, but that's kind of a cool take on Batman sort of thing. Oh, and Ben Affleck is going to be Batman in the Flash movie, and they're doing the Flashpoint paradox, and they're bringing the shows and the movies and all that crap together. Like Michael Keaton is going to be Batman, and Ben Affleck is going to be Batman in that movie. It's going to be awesome. So I see no reason we can't have Keanu Reeves and Matt is both as Constantine. I can't remember their names. I don't know. Constantine is the best show ever. Netflix should pick it up. Pick it up, Netflix.
Oh yeah, they're fucking listening.
They should be. They should be. And Lucifer can continue on in Constantine, and it'll be great. And then we can have Justice League Dark. I'd be happy with that. That's what you guys get. Just dead air for the end of the show.
You were just talking.
No.
You were just
I'm still mad
along.
from earlier. I'm still
just
pissed off.
Rolling along.
So we'll try to get back on track. We say it every episode. We'll try to get back on track.
We're probably not gonna. Don't bet on it.
You know what? I would do more podcasts if every time I was like, hey, this is what the show is going to be. You didn't make this face. I don't want to do that. If you just had a little fucking enthusiasm. There's a lot of times we've done shows and you're like, that doesn't sound that good. And then the show ends up being really good because you listen to me. If I just had a little bit.
I don't think that's ever happened.
I need
documentation.
I need a little bit.
That's wrong.
Help me to help you. Help me help you.
Turn off these cameras so I can fucking murder you.
So I think
I'm hanging out with you, Catherine, right now, right?
next NTP episode is going to be a true crime episode, I think. Allie was supposed to be here today, and
She's sick.
Is she?
She doesn't feel good. We're not being mean to people for when they don't feel good, because that makes people feel shitty when they have to cancel.
Oh, you're right. We'll bring her some essential oils and some chickens.
Yes, chickens.
Chicken soup.
Because the worst thing, she eats the chickens.
How can we incorporate chickens
We can't.
chickens and goats?
Okay, I'm okay with the goats.
Paranormal goats.
I like goats.
We need paranormal, like paranormal detecting goats.
Paranormal farm.
Oh, I see where you're going with it. Spirit Animal Crossing.
We could do this.
I don't know. I feel like if we could get the rooster to like cluck crow a certain way when it sees a bad spirit, and then crow a certain way when it sees a good spirit, we could like communicate somehow. Or if we could get the chickens to lay different colored eggs depending on the ant, like Alwie, if you can get your chicken to like lay an egg that has like a message in it when you open it.
Okay.
That would...
Eat this. Eat this chicken.
Why would that be the message? Eat this chicken.
No, eat this chicken. Eat this, comma, chicken. Not eat this chicken, idiot.
I'm the idiot. I can't see your punctuation. We're talking about a chicken laying an egg with a ghost message in it. Like, you know what? And here's what's sad. We have all this technology, all this equipment, and all these experts in the paranormal field. If you bring me a phone or some device that comes up with some random message, it's like, you will die tomorrow. I'm going to be like, that's bullshit. That's stupid. You bring me a chicken that poops words. It's like, brr, eat this chicken. I'd be like, it's the devil. It's real. It's all real. I've been living a lie. I just want a chicken that poops spiritual messages.
Yeah.
I think it would be great.
That would be terrifying.
Okay, so we're going to get on that chicken Ouija technology real soon. We're going to look at...
how did my aunt die? And you use it like a fucking magic 8-ball. You shake the chicken.
Shake the chicken and an egg pops
you
out.
set it down and you wait.
The chicken's eyes are just rolling around in its head like a slot machine. It's like brain damaging now. It's like pooping words in Latin. Liberate.
That would be terrifying.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're totally out. Everybody, you guys just have a great weekend.